Good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of the 401 Talk Zone Radio Show. I'm your host, Leon Jones, and this afternoon's topic: people who text don't have social or communication skills. This is a topic that's very important because in this day and age, many of us are stuck to our cell phones. Our cell phones are like our weapon of dependency. It's good to have a cell phone, and it's good to text sometimes, especially if you're at work and somebody calls you and you're busy. Texting can be a reminder of a task that you need to get done when it comes to returning somebody's call. But in today's culture, particularly more of the young folks utilize texting. Now, the problem with texting, it's not personable. I don't know what's going on in your head on the other side of the telephone. Also, what you write, I might not interpret right. It's usually a lot of miscommunication. But when it comes to any task or any type of event, or let's add dating to the mix, well, there are a number of people who are breaking up by sending a text message instead of actually communicating with the person. And then when you call the person back, they won't answer the phone. Why? Because they don't want to discuss the issue. And what a number of individuals are doing with texting, they're utilizing as an excuse to get out of a responsibility. Now, you have to look at what happens when people text. You have a number of individuals who have been killed in automobile accidents. Some states have no texting laws. Do people follow those laws? No, they don't follow those laws. I know in the state of New York, they have places that you can pull off on I-84, just coming out of Port Jervis, New York. If you're going to go to Danbury, Connecticut, I've seen people text on that interstate highway, and you're going up 1,200 to 1,500 feet in the Catskill Mountains. But back to my point. When people constantly text, they do it because they don't have social skills. But the problem with that is you take more time by texting somebody than by actually having a conversation. And what I'm going to include in texting is emailing and also chat rooms. Now, texting is not an old phenomenon because it basically started from the Yahoo chat, AOL chat, where individuals got online and they chatted with each other just typing. I don't like typing because I can't hear your voice, especially if we have an issue. Now, how many of you men and women have had somebody text you when you were dating them and they broke up with you and you didn't have a chance to respond? Now, to me, that's a cowardly way out. And this is what texting has done. It's really alleviated having the social skills to communicate. I had an assignment that was due the other day. If you take online courses, you have to deal with groups. And I don't like dealing with groups, particularly of young, I call them all kids, because they do not have any idea of how the real world works. They don't have any idea of how to communicate. And the only thing they do is utilize texting. And if you're going to do that, why even have a telephone? You can go to a computer and email all day long. But when it comes to texting, it just creates a non-personable atmosphere. And for some of you individuals out there who are going to college and you're majoring in courses that deal with hospitality or customer service, you better understand this very quickly, that you're going to have to get out there and deal with the public. And this is probably why some people have poor customer service skills, because they carry that cell phone on them and they're constantly on that cell phone texting. I see it in college. I see it when I'm out. They're family members sitting across the table from each other and they're texting. Are you telling me that no one has the ability to really strike up a conversation? And these are families with two-parent households. Because some of the parents who are my age have learned texting from their own children. Technology has gone wild. Social media has gone wild. And this is why we have the society we have. And when you have the inability to communicate and you have no social skills, you really can't function in the real world. You function in a virtual world. See, the real world, you have to be who you are. When you are in the virtual world, you can be anybody you want. And for the most part, that's who people are. Now, I'm not against texting, because if somebody calls me and I'm busy, I'll send them a text to let them know I'm going to call them back. We have too many individuals who try to use texting to solve personal problems. If you really want to solve personal problems, utilize what God gave you, and that's called the mouth. Because with today's technology, one must understand, particularly in the customer service fields, and I know Japan is already doing it, if you constantly use this technology, you're going to be without a job, because in Japan right now they're using robots at some of their hotels. In fact, they want to test robots at McDonald's. And those are crucial fields, again, where you actually have to meet and talk to people. And what texting has done is basically made individuals afraid to meet new people. At work, you have your supervisor sitting right across from you. Instead of getting up, going and talk to your supervisor about any situation, what does he or she require you to do? Or will send me an email. And that's really the problem. Texting and emails and chats have gotten out of hand. And this younger generation, if they keep on utilizing these forms of communication, they're not going to go anywhere in life except to be dysfunctional people. Now, when you have any type of conversation or social skills that involve physical or person to person, you should utilize the tools of person to person. Now, I realize that one of the scariest events to do or tasks to do is public speaking, where you make it worse when you're texting. Because all texting does is make you look like a coward. You're just hiding behind a keyboard. And this is what happens on YouTube. A lot of us have subscribers, but how many of your subscribers are really supportive of what you do? Certainly they'll look at a video, and if they like the video, they'll subscribe to your channel. But do you see the same subscribers coming back when you put new content up? Yes and no. But even with YouTube, of course you can't give everybody your personal information because you don't know who people are. But if you're meeting new people for the first time, particularly if you want to go out on a date, it's nothing wrong with texting a person, especially if you meet them on a dating site, to let them know that, hey, my name is so and so. I looked at your profile, and I'm leaving you my phone number so we can contact each other. But for the most part, people don't want to contact each other. They want to stay isolated. Well, you can't meet people being isolated. And again, I believe texting is the easy way out. It makes you look like a coward. It also makes you look like you're hiding behind something. And that's the same way I feel about people who hide behind avatars, or they put somebody else's picture up. And at the end of the day, you're a dishonest person. Because if I don't know who you are, how can I contact you? And this is not only for trolls, this is for every person who utilizes any type of media. Now, it's not that hard to communicate with people. And this generation today is no different than any other generation, except for technology. Now, technology did take off well before the 1990s. Most of us didn't have the money to afford computers. I remember the old reel-to-reel tape recorders. Remember the key punch cards in the 1970s. I even remember the beepers of the 1990s. Now, in fact, when it came to messaging, you had people just putting their phone number in with a beeper, and once you see the phone number, you go and call that person. Then, this is where texting started. When you had a pager, you had keys and letters on that pager, and you could actually send them a message. Since you couldn't utilize a voice message, you type in a message. And from there on, this is how texting got its start. And it also got started again from all the chat lines, all the emails. This is why I don't give people my email, not my personal one. I'll give them my email, which is my Gmail address, for individuals who are interested in talking with me, because you can email me and I'll give you my phone number if you give me your phone number. I do not believe that texting is going to be the solution when it comes to your problems. If you're afraid to confront somebody, if you have an issue with them, then the problem is on you. But hiding behind a telephone, thinking that you're going to get your point across, makes you look like a child. And if you can't communicate and have social skills in the real world, how do you think you're going to make it in a professional world, especially if you work at any type of job? You have to deal with people personally. And with texting again, yet a number of people who have been killed in automobile accidents, just as I mentioned before. Now, I'm not slamming texting because I do it, but I do it when I'm too busy to talk with somebody. However, I make sure I get back with that person. Because how you conduct business with other people is how people see you. And returning phone calls, talking via telephone, or you can even Skype. Skype is a good application. If you don't have Skype, you have IMO, and you have other types of video platforms that you can actually talk person to person, and you can see each other's face. Now, I always have a problem when I can't see somebody's face that I'm talking to. That's why on YouTube, you can always see my face. In the same way I conduct business here on YouTube, I conduct business in the real world. I don't revolve my life around texting, and I'm certainly not going to break up with somebody via texting. And if people do that, I call them cowards. I'd rather them just not even answer the phone when I call them, which that's another video. Because I have to talk about phone etiquette, which a number of people don't have that either. They constantly will call you and don't leave messages. And for me, if you don't leave me a message, you're going to be in the back of the line, because I only return phone calls to people who leave messages, because the people who leave messages are important. And if you call me and you hang up the phone without leaving a message and you send me a text, that's just as bad as not leaving me a phone message, because some people do that. And they wonder why I don't get back to them. I'll get back to you. It might be 2 or 3 or 4 months down the road, but you put yourself in a position to where your phone call wasn't important, and you lose out in the long run. So when it comes to texting, texting is not bad, but I think we overdo it in our everyday lives. The best thing to do if you want to understand people is meet people. I don't know why everybody in this generation is afraid to meet new people. How are you going to meet that special one when all you're doing is texting back and forth? And there are individuals my age, and I'm 52 years old, got 50-year-olds. And I see more of the texting coming from the female gender. Now, I'm doing this video, of course, because I've seen that experience. Now, if you're a female and you know men who constantly text, let me know in the comment section. But females are definitely utilizing more texting so they can get away with their buffoonery and their childish acts. And I think it's abhorrent behavior. It's childish behavior. Because you have a problem with somebody, you want to get on the telephone and text back and forth. And even going online, if you meet somebody, you give them your phone number and you tell them, well, I want to get you online and we can type back and forth. Get me online is a waste of time, because I have other things going on in my life. You either want to meet me or you don't want to meet me. But texting back and forth and emailing back and forth, that's not the way to communicate. You learn social skills by working on your diction and your presentation, and you get out and meet people. That's the only way you're going to understand people and hear different thoughts. You can't hide behind computers all your life or your telephone. I tell you, if we take the telephones away with texting, you'd have some people in an uproar. Because, again, texting is a person's easy way out when they don't want to deal with certain issues, particularly relationship issues. And when somebody writes you a text that's threatening, and then you try to call them back and they don't want to pick up the phone, well, you already know that person is nothing, because that person won't confront you on the telephone. They don't want to deal with the issue, because, again, they're hiding behind that little keyboard they got. Now, again, I'm repeating myself because repetition is the mother of all teaching and skills. You text when you're too busy to answer your telephone. But if you are trying to meet a new mate, a new friend, the best way to do it is get out in public. Now, if you're meeting online and you're really interested in each other, then you call each other. Now, if you're texting back and forth and nothing's coming out of it, then you're wasting each other's time. Because that's basically what you do when you text. And I see a lot of this on the dating profiles and in real life. If I can't talk to you, then you're hiding something. Or if you have an issue, you don't want to deal with it on a person-to-person level. Or in life, when you have a problem and you don't want to deal with it on a person-to-person level, then you aren't one who is interested in solving the problem. You want to continue to do things as is. That's why you use texting. Now, texting is the most juvenile type of behavior when it comes to anything outside of reminders, such as callbacks, reminders such as I'll go pick the kids up at such and such, reminders such as if I'm going to the grocery store and don't have pencil and paper, you can text the information. I can look at my phone and get whatever I need for the house. But outside some of those examples, because I didn't get all of the examples, but some of those examples, you do not need to text back and forth to converse with one another. It is a waste of time. And for the most part, you're not solving anything. Meeting people can be very difficult. But if you don't give it a try, you're not going to understand the benefit of meeting people. And you lose a lot when it comes to your social skills. Being here on YouTube is social media. Now, when I present information, I'm utilizing my camera phone. But when it comes to some of my subscribers, I have talked to some of them offline. And they're the same people that have come to my comment section online when they respond to my videos. Now, they don't text me too much because we pick up the phone and talk. And I have to ask this question, whatever happened to picking up the phone? I mean, you have a cell phone right there. You have a smartphone. You got speed dial. Why are so many people inclined to just texting and just instead of speed dialing? You waste more time by sending somebody a text message, especially if they don't understand it. And half the people can't write anyway when it comes to the English language. I found that out. That's why they use all these BFFs and laters like L8R. Certainly the words might be too long. However, to me, if you don't know how to utilize the English language, you definitely don't know how to communicate, and your chances of making it in the real world, especially in the workforce, are going to be slim to none. It's funny how so many individuals, particularly the younger folks, know how to use all this technology, but they have no common sense. I'm not saying all of them, but a number of them. And when it comes to communication, they don't want to meet in person, but they'll text, they'll email, they'll go on chat lines. Well, hiding behind a computer doesn't make you an adult. Certainly we have evil out here, but you're not going to function under a rock. Because eventually you have to get out and socialize. If your socialization skills are that poor, that's because you haven't trained yourself to communicate properly, or you haven't been taught how to do it by your parents, who are probably texting themselves. And some of you children are teaching your parents how to text. But it's shameful when individuals have to communicate day in and day out by texting. And when you call their phones, it's very annoying when their phone goes to voicemail. You leave them a message, or their voicemail box is full. If you don't want to answer your phone, don't have a phone. If you don't want to engage in conversation with society, live out in a wooded area or be isolated. Because in this world, you have to have people skills if you want to get ahead in anything. If you can't communicate via orally or verbal, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And I like technology, but technology creates a lot of dysfunctional behavior. Now, it is not the technology's fault, it's the person who is operating the technology. But if you want individuals to trust you, you want individuals to see what type of person you are, you must converse face to face or by phone. I can't have a relationship texting. You can send a man or a woman all the naked pictures in the world to get them aroused, but guess what? You're sending pictures. We want to deal with the real person. But a number of people use texting, particularly when it comes to dating or meeting on dating sites, because they have no intent on meeting the other individuals anyway. They're just wasting time playing a game, and they like the attention of getting emails from guys and gals telling them how beautiful they look, or they could also be in a relationship. So what they're doing, they just want to see if they still have it, which that's immature behavior. When you utilize typing on dating sites, texting, or even utilizing chat lines. Now, there's some instances that the chat is good, such as doing Google Hangouts. And I was on one last night with Brother Guy King. He has a chat line. People come and chat, but what Guy King does, and shout out to him, and shout out to Brother Matt Coley and Brother Q Wilson and Brother Reg the Bad Guy, also Brother Real Deal, Sister Clarissa, See Temptation, check her videos out. She's got good Chicago talk videos and she understands the trending issues. But moving on to the texting issue. Do I have a problem with texting? Absolutely. Because I am old school. And I believe in communication via meeting face to face. Especially when you have to interview for jobs. Texting will not get you the interview. I'm sorry. Your resume basically doesn't get you the interview like it used to. But if you understand social skills and communication, you don't need texting. Now, there's nothing wrong with sending somebody a small text message that you're thinking about them. But still, contact them via telephone. It's good to hear a voice. It's good to feel a person. Because when you hear a voice and feel a person, that's when you can find out what kind of vibe or energy you have for that person. And how much vibe and energy you have that that person is getting from you. And you can hear the inflection in people's voices. When you text, you don't know what individuals are saying. Because half the texting is not written properly anyway. So many of us are in the dark. And then when you try to ask somebody what they wrote, again, they don't want to answer the phone and tell you. Why? Because it's easy to hide behind text messaging. Because you don't have to be responsible for your actions. It's an escape route from reality, from dealing with social problems, from dealing with relationships. And that's what texting is. It's supposed to be a tool for communication, but in actuality, it's basically a tool that people can use to hide behind their dramas that they don't want to deal with. And if If you don't believe me, let me know what happens when somebody sends you a text message, especially when they're breaking up with you. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 401 Talk Zone radio show for this afternoon, Monday, October 30th, 2017. You can tune into the 401 Talk Zone radio show every Saturday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Blog Talk Radio. Guest call-in number is 215-383-5785. And if you like my videos, please share and subscribe to the 401 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube so I can continue to give you quality information for educational purposes from a professional and mature perspective. Now, on this channel, I don't engage in controversy, emotion, or debates, nor do I participate in drama and or unnecessary bickering because it is counterproductive. What I do on this channel is teach, and I give you the information from a realistic but positive message. Because if you have the tools that you need and the information, you'll be able to understand the real world, and you won't have any problems with communication or social skills. Therefore, you can alleviate a lot of headaches of texting. And when you have knowledge, you have power. And if you have a topic, a business, or a new YouTube channel that you would like for me to discuss on YouTube or Blog Talk Radio, please email me at lej6521@gmail.com. And here's the best part. If you have a comment, please leave your comment in the comment section under the video. But make sure that your comments are pithy. No bloviating, pettifogging, or filibustering, if you wish to opine. Now that's it for this video. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Remember, please be gentle and respectful to each other, and have a wonderful and blessed afternoon.